ladies were sitting at a table to the right. Donna Evatt, Joanna Hildreth, Regina Gray. Donna Evatt says the paperwork's over there, pointing to a table with paperwork. It was put together, I picked it up, I filled it all out. Regina Gray says right there. So I do that, I bring it back over, and I've got a video, uncut video. Joanna Hildreth points to the sign on the table and says the paperwork goes here. At that point, she goes, this is where it's turned in, which he did, he just turned it in. Regina Gray, looking through my paperwork with Joanna Hildreth, Joanna says it's all turned in, he turned it in. She again says he turned it in. And then she says, Joanna Hildreth, looks like he's got it done. I ask, are we done? Joanna says, we've got your paperwork. I can't tell you who, the person in charge of the paperwork was the Catoosa Republican Party. They've already shown they can't even do a notary, so they had possession of all the paperwork I turned in, and then was ordered by court to bring it here. Now, the night they brought it here, they had to make 2 trips because he lost some of my paperwork and had to come back the second time. At that point, it looks like he should have made 3 trips because they didn't have my loyalty oath. Now, when I fill something out and give it to them, I don't get to take it back.
You didn't keep a copy?
No, sir. I did it right there. She said, there's your paperwork. I filled it all out, gave every bit of it to them. She said, I said, are we done? She goes, we got your paperwork. I left. I trusted them. Clearly should not have.
Raise your right hand, please, sir. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give this court is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God? I do. Mr. Harris, there's been an accusation that you did not qualify properly and you did not take an oath. You went before qualification board, or went before the C.L.U.C.K County Republican Party on what day did you go?
I went the day of qualifying. I think it was the 2nd on a Monday at 12:55.
And was that the first day of qualifying?
First day of qualifying. And I wanted to make sure if there was any problems, there was enough time to get it.
Okay. Now, did you go in and did you have your documents ready and did you sign these documents there at the C.L.U.C.K County Party? Okay.
I looked online. I tried to find everything I could, and like everybody said, I couldn't find. I found 2 documents, and they said have them notarized. Well, I've only done this twice in my entire life, and so I can't remember I'm not in charge of the process, so I don't know how it works. So I printed those off. I had them notarized. I filled them out, and when I got there, I was directed to a table with the paperwork on the table. So I went to the table and I looked through all the paperwork and took a packet, took out what I didn't have done, finished it at the table, and then turned it in.
Okay. And what were those done?
I think the only thing that was, I have to look at it and see, but it was the, I think it was the training, something about training.
Mm-hmm.
The other forms, there was 2 of those, I filled those out. And then the training form, that was what was on the table, paperwork that they directed me to.
Okay.
And was there an oath in there that you saw?
Not that I saw. On the main form that I filled out, the affidavit, it had a place to write in what party and it said you'll abide by all the rules and regulations of and I wrote in Republican Party and I signed it. I took that to be the loyalty oath. Like I said, I don't handle their paperwork. I didn't know.
And so did you ask who did you hand your paperwork to?
I handed my paperwork, Joanna Hildreth. But when I went in, there was 3 ladies, Regina Gray to the left, Joanna Hildreth behind the table, and Donna Evatt to the right. When I went in, Donna Evatt said the paperwork's over there. So that's when I went over and discovered what I had wasn't everything that was on that table. So I went through the packets and all the paperwork, and it was that one continuing education form. I filled it out and then brought it back over to the table, turned it in to Joanne Hildreth and Virginia Gray.
And did you ask him, what did you ask him at that time?
Well, it was, Ms. Gray was looking through the paperwork, and Joanne Hildreth just kept saying, "We've got your paperwork," and I'm like, and she said that several times, and I'm like, is this everything? And Ms. Gray was looking through it, like, I don't know what she was looking at, but she just kept looking at it, and Ms. Hildreth said a couple of times, "He's turned it in, we've got all of it, we've got all his paperwork," or something like that. So, and then later on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I went back on Thursday to ask, is it everything I need? Because qualifying is still open. Is there anything I need to fill out? Have you got everything? And I saw Donna Ebbett, and she stopped me in the hallway, wouldn't let me come any further, and said that Joanna wasn't there, and Joanna was the only one that could sign it. And I said, well, I turned it in Monday. And she said, well, I don't know, Joanna's having to work, and she's the only one who can do it, and I don't know if it's been signed. So I actually sent 2 text messages to Joanna asking her if they got everything, if everything was okay, and I never heard back from her.
They didn't return your phone call?
No.
Or your attempt to contact?
I think I actually called and sent 2 texts to Joanna Hilbert.
Mr. Fant testified that he was trying to deliver your documents.
Rick, can you ask a couple questions?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us what went on Thursday when you delivered the paperwork? Who got called? Who had the paperwork the whole 9 yards?
I brought all the paperwork in on time. Is Rebecca here? Yeah, I was on time about delivering the paperwork. Well,
Ron was there at 4.
no. Okay.
Who got the phone call from the attorney? Who had the paperwork to start with? Who handed it to you?
I got that from Joanne.
Joanne, she got the phone call.
I don't know who she got a call from. I just received the paperwork from her to bring it in.
I thought 4 o'clock was kind of unfair if those people working on Thursday.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You got there by 5.
yeah, I mean, I did the best I could. Either way, that doesn't negate the other things that I read here that were not complied by Mr. Harris. So.
Ask me another question. Did you vote to have Chuck Harris? Were you at the meeting that voted him out of the Republican Party?
No, I'm not a part of the executive committee.
Okay. All right.
But were you at the convention?
I was at the convention, yes. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes,
And did you vote to have Mr. Harris removed from the Republican Party?
I did.
Okay. And did you know that the paperwork was incorrect, or did anybody in the Republican Party was incorrect?
I had no idea about the paperwork part of it. I was just a courier.
You didn't know that it was
Yeah.
wrong?
I had no idea.
Anybody else have any questions on Mr. Grant?
Why were you chosen to carry the paper states against your board's office?
Because I'm part of the GOP, and my wife is Ruth, and I work with these guys, and I'm an advocate.
So who gives the oath to these candidates?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them in the executive committee, all that stuff.
I'm just wondering if everybody was given the oath when they.
Well, it's my understanding that Mr. Holman did all the paperwork for Mr. Harris.
It's also in state law. The wording of it is in state law.
Yeah, okay, so the wording of it is in state law, but I'm under the impression Mr. Holman did the paperwork for Mr. Harris and didn't have the proper paperwork submitted that he gave Chuck to submit.
Well, I'm not a detective, but when all this stuff came up about the oath, I started looking for the oath online. It's nowhere to be found. It's not on the Catoosa County website, Republican Party website. It's not on the state Republican Party website. As a matter of fact, the only county that I could find that had it on their website. I think it was Bullock County, and it was from 2024. So my question is, if you're following state guidelines, then why was Mr. Harris not given his oath when he submitted his paperwork? If all the other candidates were given the oath,
Well,
why was Mr. Harris not given his
Well,
oath?
that I can't answer, but OCGA 2-2-153, if party rules so require affirms his or her allegiance to his or her party by signing the following oath, I do hereby swear or affirm my allegiance to the same. And Mr. Harris had it and didn't sign it, is my understanding. So, I can't speak for him, I can't speak for...
Where's the oath that day?
I don't know.
That's my question.
Where's the oath?
That was my understanding, is that was on the burden was on them to have that paperwork submitted.
Any other questions for Mr. Fenton? Mr. Johnson?
I just was curious, so when the paperwork, I guess, was completed and they had everything, you're saying Joanna handed the paperwork to you and asked you to take it to the election office?
That's
Is that
correct. That's correct.
Did you take it there right away? You didn't go to McDonald's or anything?
No, I went straight there because I was under the gun time-wise.
Okay. So you went right from where the qualifying was happening and you delivered it?
Straight from the bank where they notarized everything, I went straight to the election office.
And you delivered the exact packet that was
Never
needed to you?
never even looked at it.
You didn't
Passed it
mess
over,
with anything, you didn't?
I opened up the Rebecca, we went through it once I got there.
Also, was all the testimony you just gave the truth, raise your right hand, please. Was all the testimony you just gave the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So I got
It was?
But
All right, thank you.
Now, have you and Mr. Fant had issues before? I mean, has he ever voiced to you his disdain or dislike for you?
Well, okay. So I ran against, or well, let's say he ran against me when I ran for my first reelection 4 years ago. He ran against me. And we had a couple of debates. And then when he brought my paperwork, and the way he brought the paperwork, it was around, I don't know when he first came, but I showed up somewhere after 5 to see if they'd turned all my paperwork in. And they said, yeah, Brett Fant brought it, but he didn't bring everything. He had to go back. He was missing something. And so it was around 6, I believe, when he came back the second time when I was there. And so that's when we had a little interaction. And he asked me, he said, do you know who's running against you? It was kind of small talk. And I'm like, I don't know, Brett, you tell me. Y'all the ones that are qualifying people, but not telling anybody. We don't know who qualified. I said, I have no idea. He said, well, I heard Bobby Winters is qualified. And I said, well, Bobby Winters said that y'all called him and told him to come qualified. So I'm assuming. And so I told him, I said, so if you're asking, this is the little bit of running. I told him that, I said, I just hope, Bobby, like we did before, we'll have a pretty clean campaign. And Britt said, well, you didn't have a clean campaign with me. He said, you drove my family into it. I'm like, what did I do? How did I drag your family into it? He said, well, you told everybody my dad was a Democrat. And I'm like, well, Britt, I'm sorry. I thought you knew your dad was Leonard Fant, was the biggest Democrat in Catoosa County. And so all I said was, when we were running against each other, I said, Brett Fant was raised in the biggest Democrat in Catoosa County's home, left to go to California for 20 odd years, the most liberal state in the union, but came back a conservative. Now that's 2 people running for office. He made some claims against me. That's the only thing, and he didn't like that, and I apologized. I shook his hand, he shook my hand, and I told him, I said, I'm sorry. There was no loyalty oath or anything that was on that table.
Did they mention it to you?
No, they never said anything.
Did they say anything outside of what was in that recording that you just played and what was on that video that they provided to you when they said, hey, there's this? Or you left out that, or you left out your oath, or you left out this?
No, they never, and I chalked it up to, I went first, and maybe Miss Gray hadn't done this before. She really didn't, she seemed like she didn't know what she was looking at, and Joanna just kept saying, this is where he's turned in, he did, we've got your paperwork, and they just went on and on. I was just trying to make sure, and that's why I went back on Thursday.
Could you raise your hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony, so help you God?
I do.
All right. So, who are you?
I'm Joanna Hildreth.
All right. Are you the chairman? Are you involved in the Republican Party?
I am.
Are you the chairwoman of the C.L.U.C.K Republican Party?
Yes.
All right. And did the party cannot qualify this year for the Republican Party?
Yes.
All right. And do you have a copy of the party rules with you?
Yes.
Are those rules on file with the county election board?
They are.
All right.
I brought copies.
You brought those? All right. I can hand those to the board for everybody. Sorry. All right, that's perfect. Copy of the rules. All right. And is that a true and correct copy of the Catoosa County Republican Party rules?
Yes.
All right. And they're on file with the election office.
Correct.
All right. We're going to hand a copy to the court reporter as one of our exhibits that's in the record. And do those rules require a loyalty oath to the party?
They do.
All right, and is that written in the rules?
Yes.
All right, and are those rules published on your website?
Yes.
All right, and does that oath exactly conform to what's allowed by state law?
Yes.
All right, so to be clear, state law has a specific form of an oath that's required.
You're correct.
Yes, and anyone could walk in with a oath with that sentence filled out, and that would be a loyalty oath, correct?
That's right.
All right. And whose obligation is it to give the loyalty oath to the party?
The candidate.
All right. And did Chuck Harris drop off paperwork to the party?
Yes.
All right. Did the paperwork he dropped off include a loyalty oath?
No.
Did it include a loyalty oath?
No.
All right. Are you sure it didn't have a loyalty oath?
I'm positive.
All right. Did you come into a possession of a lawsuit during qualifying week?
Yes.
Was it filed by Chuck Harris?
Yes.
Was it sworn to by Chuck Harris?
Yes.
Did it have paperwork attached to it, which was the paperwork, a copy of the paperwork provided to the party?
Yes.
So would you logically assume that Chuck Harris had a copy of everything he turned in?
Yes.
Did he attach a loyalty oath to that sworn complaint?
No.
Do you have copies of that sworn complaint?
Yes.
All right. Please. All right. So is this a true and accurate copy of the sworn complaint that was filed by Chuck Harris with the sworn statement included and all the documents?
Yes.
All right. I'd like to put this into the record as Exhibit 3, and here are copies for the board.
Oh, thank you so much.
If you had received a loyalty oath with, well, actually, so yes, so that complaint lists all the documents that were given to you in there, correct?
Correct.
Yes. All right. And did the Republican Party of Catoosa County qualify Chuck Harris?
No.
All right. Did you include him on the list of qualified Republican candidates that is part of the qualification process?
No.
Did you ever tell anyone that Chuck Harris was qualified?
No.
Did the party vote over about a year ago to not want Chuck Harris to be qualified?
Yes.
Do you, or on behalf of the Catoosa County Republican Party, want Chuck Harris on the Republican Party primary ballot?
No.
Are you aware of any court order purporting to require him to be on the Republican Party primary ballot?
No.
And do you believe that the Republican Party of Catoosa County has a constitutional right of freedom of association to keep Chuck Harris off the primary ballot, even if he had turned in a loyalty oath?
I do.
But he did not turn in a loyalty oath, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you very much. That's a good point. Also, is this a true and correct copy of the list of the candidates that you turned in on behalf of the Catoosa County Republican Party? All right. All right. Well, I'll add this in Exhibit 2.
as well to the record, and we'll hand copies to them as well.
And Chuck Harris's name is not on this list, correct?
Correct.
And this is the form prescribed by the Secretary of State that needs to have his name on it.
Right. Ms. President.
And according to, from your understanding, adding or removing names from this would be a violation of state law.
That's right.
If Mr. Harrison filled out the loyalty oath, would you still qualify him or not?
He was voted to not be qualified.
The information that you received from the court, did the judge acknowledge the fact that the Catoosa County Convention actually voted a resolution to remove Chuck Harris from the Republican Party?
If I recall correctly, that is written in that document that we got from Chuck Harris.
So the judge did acknowledge that the county party had a convention, and at the convention, determined that Chuck Harris could not remain in the Republican Party.
Right, it's written in that order. Oh, yeah, in the order.
With how many would you say attended that party? I think there was more than 16, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. I mean, at the time of the vote, there was well over 100 people.
Thank you.
Chuck, did you go to your attorney on Thursday to go to Superior Court to paperwork?
Yes. Yes, because time was running out, and I didn't know, I contacted the attorney, because they had sent me a letter telling me it was a year before that, they said I was kicked out of the Republican Party. And the letter was signed by Ruth Hant and Joanna Hildreth and several others.
So when you went in to qualify that day, that oath was not in that package?
No, I went through everything on that table. It was clipped together. There were 3 pieces of paper clipped together, several of them. I went through all of them, and it was the two papers I had, and then the only thing I didn't have was the education portion, and I filled it out at that table. So when I turned it in, I didn't know anything about a loyalty oath.
That was going to be my question. So the last time you've run for office, did you sign an oath or?
I'm assuming I did, but that was for, like I said, I'm 70 years old. I've done this twice in my lifetime. I can't tell you what papers, how many papers, or what they were.
So this is your 3rd time running for office?
Yes.
And you don't remember the other 2 times that you ran for office signing the loyalty oath?
I'm assuming I did. You would have to show it to me to say, okay, yes, that's what I signed.
Did you go to any of the hearings that happened 2 years ago? Were you present in any?
I was.
Do you remember them talking explicitly about a loyalty oath?
No.
I mean, it was brought up several times about a loyalty oath. I just wanted to see if you remember them talking about how important that was.
No, I don't. I mean, if it would have been important, it should have been, you would have thought it would have been on a Facebook page or something. But, you know, and I keep hearing them talk about rules. These are rules, and we love rules, and we follow the rules. You know, Joanna, and I was told that it wouldn't be Joanna, the chair, but private citizen Joanna. She endorsed Britt Fant and worked for Britt Fant against me, an incumbent Republican, 4 years ago. And when I called them out on it, Denise Burns called me up and explained that that was private citizen Joanna. It wasn't Joanna, the chairwoman. So that was my first history with this.
So you had got an attorney and went before a judge, and the judge had a list of requirements. Did the Republican Party meet the requirements that were on?
The judge had a list of requirements from the papers I gave the judge that showed what I filled out on Monday. He didn't list a loyalty oath because they never gave me one. Or if they did, they took it out.
Do you think they took it out?
I have no idea. Rick Fant was ordered by a judge to bring all my paperwork So from the time he left the Republican headquarters and went a quarter mile, he didn't have all the paperwork. He had to go back and make a second trip. And my
Why
question,
did you know that? Were you there?
I was
when
there.
they-
I was there when he came back.
So, two quick questions. Who ultimately is responsible for your paperwork?
Well, I'm filling out paperwork for the Republican Party, for their nomination.
It's for you.
Their primary.
Running. Yeah.
Right.
Now, the next thing you said is that you went to the election office and reviewed the paperwork that Mr. Fant brought there with Rebecca. You've run for office twice. You've heard about the loyalty oath several times, including multiple times in the hearing that we had 2 years ago.
And it's in here.
You're responsible for your paperwork. You're looking at your paperwork with Rebecca. Did it ever dawn on you that, where's the loyalty oath?
No, it didn't dawn on me because I didn't create it. I didn't know it was supposed to be there.
You said you're a lifelong Republican. You've run for office twice before.
Yes.
So you've been in office 8 years.
You ran for office, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember, what was the heading on your loyalty oath?
Yeah, I had to go down to the Capitol. And I not only sign the loyalty oath for the Republican Party, but I also had to answer questions and prove my allegiance to the Republican Party under the gold dome in that office. I mean, it was a pretty extensive process. Do you think those folks felt like you had been removed via resolution from the Republican Party? When you walked in there, did you feel that those folks knew that?
Well, Joanna did it because her name was the first one on the removal.
There were many items on the resolution. I was at the meeting when that happened. Ultimately, you're responsible for your paperwork, and you had multiple opportunities to review your paperwork.
Yeah, but
Including when
how do
you're
you
back.
review your paperwork if you don't know what you're reviewing?
I'm just saying you're ultimately responsible for your own paperwork.
And the,
I'm going to present you, I'm going to give you this document. You recognize this document here. It's marked as Exhibit 8.
yes, that's part of a certified letter.
Okay. You received by certified mail?
Yes.
And then what's it dated?
April 7th, 2025.
It's written to you. Who signed the letter?
Joanna Hildreth.
Is it as Catoosa County GOP Chair?
Correct.
No. And what is included in this document that you received?
A resolution that apparently they had,
What's the title of the document?
resolution for the removal of Chuck Harris from the Catoosa County Republican Party.
And it goes on for a couple, 3 pages?
Several pages.
Okay. 3 pages. And who's it signed by?
Denise Burns and Sherry Bells.
Okay. And this Denise Burns signed it as...
She was the convention chairman at that convention.
Okay, and what's it dated? It says adopted this, what, 18th day of March? Okay. Of what year, 2025?
Yes. I don't know what that loyalty oath was hiding. I didn't get it. Or if I did get it and filled it out, they destroyed it before they brought it to the Board of Elections. So I don't know which is which, but regardless.
The other side is mocking civil rights law every time they're saying, well, you need to be treated equally. Equal disparate treatment, that's talking about like race and sex discrimination. It's not talking about political parties. Political parties have a right to associate with people who support their platform. That's the point of the political parties, is to get your platform enacted. The Republican Party doesn't want Chuck Harris because Chuck Harris isn't supporting the platform. Rightly or wrongly, that is what came out of the convention. So if you're arguing about the Constitution, you're going to say, we're going to stand by the Constitution. then he shouldn't be qualified. But I understand there may be different opinions on that. People may think that, all right, we got to follow the law, the rule of law, which I think Democrats and Republicans all agree on. The rule of law is what has been presented to you today by us. You look at the law, you look at what is in the statute, and you walk through it. You have in there is no requirement in the law that there be a packet. There's no requirement that the Republican Party provide anything to candidates who walk in. That isn't in the law. What's in the law is 21-153. This is if you're ignoring the constitutional argument. It says that no person shall be prohibited from qualifying for office if he or she, and it lists off 4 things, and one of them says, if party rules so require, affirms his or her allegiance to his or her party by signing the following oath. Quote, I do hereby swear or affirm my allegiance to the name of party, in parentheses, party, which would be affirm my allegiance to the Republican Party. That is what is required by the law there. The act of qualifying in 21-154, that involves the county executive committee certifying to the superintendent, which is you all, on forms of the Secretary of State, all those candidates who have qualified. And then it says that any candidate whose name doesn't appear on the list shall not be certified. His name wasn't on the list, period. You look at 21-284, all candidates who have qualified with a party in accordance with this chapter and party rules, and who have been certified to the superintendent, which is you all, shall be printed on the ballot. He's not qualified with them, and it's not in compliance with the rules. Now, they're trying to make this argument that somehow the party did something weird, and Chuck Harris, who's an elected official who makes laws, who should know the laws, who, and this is something that is in the evidence. You don't have to believe me for what I'm about to say. You just look at the complaint that was brought in, that on the top right corner, it's file stamp. There's a little file stamp up here in the top right corner showing when this lawsuit was filed. It was filed on March 5th, 2026. That is the Thursday of qualifying week. If you look down, you'll see Chuck Harris's counsel's name there. He was involved in this at the time. So they filed a lawsuit on Thursday. Attached to that as a sworn statement, if you flip all the way to through it, it talks about the documents that were submitted. In the complaint itself, it says that certain documents were submitted. This is a sworn complaint. There's a verification, meaning that Chuck Harris swore under oath with this. One of the attachments to that document is Exhibit B, which shows a declaration of candidacy and affidavit. And just actually, Exhibit B shows all the documents that were submitted. And if you look there, since opposing counsel made this very clear, if you look at the notary stamp on that document, on Exhibit B, that was attached, it was filed on the Thursday, you'll see that the notary there is from Murray County. Nobody from Catoosa. This document was obviously not notarized at the Catoosa County GOP headquarters. He showed up with the document. And if you look at the second document that is signed, that was also notarized in Murray County. So whatever documents that Chuck Harris claims that he submitted and were so important, he came in with them. He showed up. He had done research ahead of time. This is not me making up something. This is obvious from the evidence in front of you that's been filed into the court records. So that is what Chuck Harris did. And then if you flip back even further, I believe it is Exhibit C. Yes, Exhibit C to that was filed in the court. And you go to the second page of that, those are the part of the Georgia Republican Party rules. And they're like, well, I don't know about the oath. I didn't know about the oath. We had no idea about the oath. This oath must be hidden somewhere. Well, other than the testimony you heard from Joanna saying, like, hey, it was on our website, and the fact that you all know that it's not hidden, because the Republican Party rules for the county are on file with you all, you look at what was attached to this complaint from Chuck Harris that was filed in court. The second page there, Exhibit C, from the Republican Party rules. Any candidate for elective office running as a Republican Party candidate shall submit to the appropriate level of the party, in this case it would be Catoosa County, the following oath affirming his or her allegiance to the party by signing the following oath. Quote, I do swear or affirm my allegiance to the Georgia Republican Party. It's in the rules. He had a copy of it. He filed it in court on Thursday. And he didn't sign it. And he didn't submit it. And he knew it. And his attorney was there and should have known it. So the argument that you are hearing from them is one of just appealing to sympathy. There's like that somehow because he's not liked, he should somehow get special treatment. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. This is a lawmaker who had an attorney on the Thursday before qualifying was done. And a couple questions that were asked in a soliloquy by opposing counsel was like, well, why did others get help? Well, it's not the Republican Party's fault that Mr. Harris didn't have the right paperwork, and it's also not the Republicans' fault that he didn't have friends or an attorney who told him about this in the law. Like, it's not our obligation in the Republican Party or Mr. Fan's obligation to do that. It seems like they're talking a lot about what the party did, but the issue here is that did Chuck Harris do the things under the law and the party rules which are required? And he didn't. The party rules are in front of you. You've seen them. You know them. Looking at the law, Mr. Fan has brought up he didn't qualify, he didn't comply with the law, he didn't comply with the rules. Mr. Harris has not complied with the rules. He didn't submit the Republican Party oath. Maybe he could be an independent. I don't know. I don't know if you all would want to do that. All I have to say is that he obviously did not comply with the rules and challenge should get held. And also the question about whether or not he's correcting. He could have corrected. He was in the office reviewing this paperwork. You're trying to say that somehow something happened with the paperwork. There's no evidence they submitted a loyalty oath at all that's required by the law and the rules. And the idea that there's a First Amendment right by Mr. Harris, I mean, he could run for office. He just isn't qualified with the Republican Party. And that's the underlying point here. So, thank you all very much.